Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Home Media Reviews. First of all, I just want to say I apologize for missing last week. I got some kind of weird virus that's been going around. The doctor I went to actually didn't know what virus it was. He just said, yeah, it's probably a virus. It'll go away in a week or two. And I'm like, thanks. But luckily, I'm feeling a lot better now. My voice is a little hoarse because I've been coughing nonstop for the last week and a half. It still hasn't stopped, by the way. I am still actively coughing. Coughing up what, you may ask? Absolutely nothing. It's just coughing, and it's really annoying. So I want to apologize again. Sorry for that. I should have pre-banked some of these episodes in advance, but you guys know me. I get a little lazy sometimes. I'm going to try to pre-bank a couple of these for the next few weeks so I don't have to miss anything. Because in the next few weeks, I'm going to be in Florida at the Walt Disney World Resort, and I don't want to have to miss a week of uploading while I'm there. But enough about me and my personal health. You guys came to hear my thoughts on Blade from 1998. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the history section of Blade. So Blade first hit theaters on August 21st, 1998. You guys know I was born in 99. I wasn't around to see Blade in theaters. It was 1 year prior to my birth, though. Almost got it. The first time I ever saw Blade, I was in middle school. My parents and I had never really had a rule about, hey, you shouldn't watch R-rated movies because you're not, 18 or whatever. I think I was 13 at the time when I saw Blade. A buddy of mine, when I was in the 6th or 7th grade, loaned me the 4-pack DVD set of Blade that we'll be talking about later on in this section of Home Media Reviews. It had Blade, Blade 2, and Blade House of Chthon. It didn't have Blade Trinity. He said he lost that disc years ago, but he loaned it to me, and I watched the first Blade, and I really enjoyed it. By the way, that friend moved away 2 weeks after he loaned me that set, and I never got a chance to give it back to him. So, it's somewhere in this house. I just don't know where. And then a few years later, after I think I turned 17 or 18, the age where I could actually buy R-rated stuff at Walmart without needing my parents there to say, oh, he can buy it. I found Blade on Blu-ray at Walmart for $5. So, I upgraded. Yippee. I felt like a badass, though, when I was 13 watching Blade for the first time. I'm like, haha, my parents have no idea that I'm watching R-rated content. Little did they know, though, I'd already seen Vacation at that point. I saw Vacation when I was 12, and if you know anything about Vacation, that movie's got a scene in it that is very much rated R. That is where I will end things with that. On a budget of $45 million, Blade made $131 million, so a very nice profit margin for New Line Cinema. Blade then hit VHS and DVD on December 1st, 1998. Perfect release to pick up at Christmas time. The movie has nothing to do with Christmas, but I guess New Line just wanted to get it out as quick as possible. As far as I know, there's no variant of these original releases with the aspect ratio. I believe they're both in full screen. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, down in the comments. April 26, 2005 brings us the Blade Trilogy set on DVD. This included all 3 of the Blade films in one nice little box set. Here's that set that I mentioned earlier, the 4 Film Favorites Blade Collection. Came out on September 29th, 2009. This included all 3 Blade movies and that weird Blade House of Chthon thing. Now, what is that? This is a television movie pilot for a Blade television series starring Sticky Fingaz as Blade. Yes, that is a real show. Look it up. I've never seen it. I don't know if it has a physical release or not. I mean, the pilot movie does, but I don't know if the show itself has a physical release anywhere. I would very much like to see it, though. That sounds amazing. The Blu-ray of Blade then came out on June 19th, 2012. That Blu-ray was then repacked into a 4 Film Favorite Sci-Fi Action Blu-ray set on January 7th, 2014. This included Blade, I Am Legend, V for Vendetta, and Constantine. I Am Legend is okay. I like it fine. V for Vendetta and Constantine, I've never seen those, so I can't really judge those. I Am Legend's kind of the one that's out of the ordinary here, because all the others of these are based on comic books, and then I Am Legend is just like, hey guys, I was based on a book from the 1920s. Hello! Later on in 2014, on September 2nd, a Blade triple feature set came out. March 10th, 2015 brings us the Blade Trilogy Blu-ray set. This uses the same artwork from the 2005 set. Kinda got lazy there. New line. The Blu-ray/DVD combo pack of Blade then hit in 2018. There was no specific date for this, but I assume it was a Walmart exclusive since that's the only place I ever saw it, and it doesn't have a digital copy. For a while there, in like 2018, 2019, Walmart was grabbing older Blu-ray releases, throwing in a lesser quality format with them, and then not including a digital copy, but selling it for $5. I believe they did this with Blade, they did it with I Am Legend, they did it with a couple of movies. And that's where I got my copy, was from the Walmart $5 bin. Nowadays you can't even find Blu-rays in the $5 bin, it's all DVDs. Thanks, inflation. And finally, on December 1st, 2020, Blade hit 4K. You heard me right. Blade got a 4K transfer. Okay, let me just put this in perspective here for you. True Lies and The Abyss and Aliens just came out on 4K this year in 2024. 4K became a thing like in 2016, 2017. It really took off in the mainstream in like 2018. Blade got a 4K in 2020, for God's sake. And yet 3 of James Cameron's most successful movies took that long to come to 4K, but Blade only took like a couple of years? I don't understand. It hurts. I do think it's funny, too, that it came out on the film's anniversary of when it first hit physical media, December 1st, 98, and then December 1st, 2020. That's a fun little callback there. Don't really know if that's intentional, though. There was a Best Buy exclusive steelbook, which looked really nice. I saw it a few times back before Best Buy stopped selling physical media, those bastards. And Blade became a Black Friday title on 4K. You could find this at various Black Friday sales for years after it came out on 4K. They produced so much excess stock of this release that they just kept selling it for $10 on Black Friday. Did I ever pick it up? No. I know I'm a big 4K guy, but I'm kind of a hypocrite when it comes to 4K movies. I want things to come to 4K, but I don't always buy them when they come to 4K. Like, I don't own The Abyss, or True Lies, or Aliens on 4K. Did I want them to come to 4K? Absolutely. But I don't have them. It's cool that Blade came to 4K. I don't own it. Maybe if I find it for cheap for Black Friday this year, maybe I'll finally pull the trigger on it. I don't know. But we are finally caught up to Blade's releases on physical media. So that wraps up your history section. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up look at Blade. Starting off here with the original 1998 VHS. Up here at the top, Wesley Snipes, Blade logo, Stephen Dorff. My copy's not in the best of shape. Haven't had this for very long. I bought it, I think, a few months ago when I was first planning out this season of home media reviews. We have a badass pose of Blade there on the front with, I think that's one of his tattoos. I'm not really sure what that is behind him. And then like a sun, a red sun back there. This is a weird poster, but to be honest, you have to break up like all of the black of Blade's costume and the black of the tattoo there. So you had to have something back there to break that up, but absolute badass pose from Mr. Wesley Snipes. Against an army of immortals, one warrior must draw first blood. The spine, you got the New Line Home Entertainment logo, a side profile of Wesley Snipes. Genre, I would call this comic book, but I guess action. Blade, the VHS logo, closed captioning, Dolby surround sound, all that good stuff. On the back, we have another photo of Blade, and then Karen, who I don't think is important enough to get a spotlight on the back of the tape, but okay. She's important in the overall movie. I don't know. Her performance isn't the best, and I didn't really care much for her character. But that's for later on in the review. You've got your barcode there. The power of an immortal. The soul of a human. The heart of a hero. 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. And you've got a little blurb about the movie. There is our villain, Mr. Stephen Dorff, playing Deacon Frost. A shot from the climax, and Chris Christopherson. And you've got your running time down there at the bottom, along with cast and crew information down there as well. And the other spine looks the same as this one. And the top just has the Blade logo and the product number. And your tape is ink labeled. Very simplistic, just Blade with the rating and a whole bunch of copyright warnings on there. Somebody was not kind, did not choose to rewind. I'm not really sure where this is in the movie. I haven't popped this into the player yet, but I'll find out soon. Moving along to what was actually my first copy of Blade that I bought for myself, the Blu-ray. Yeah, this is the Walmart Blu-ray that I talked extensively about in the history section, as it lives and breathes. So we've got the Blu-ray logo up there at the top, Blu-ray plus DVD, the exact same poster art as on the VHS, even down to the tagline down there at the bottom. They have changed literally nothing here, except added more negative space around this clip art of Blade there. Still a badass poster. There's your Blu-ray disc logo on the spine, Blade logo. Why will this not stay focused? That's annoying. And the New Line Cinema logo down there at the bottom. The back, oh look, we've got a return of this photo from the back of the VHS tape. That's nice. Except we have a new tagline here. Sink your teeth into high-def excitement. Ooh, that's fun. Barcode, presumably the same blurb as on the VHS. Special features are down here at the bottom. And you've got cast and crew information down there, tech specs, ratings, all that good stuff. Inside, your DVD is a repackage of the... I believe this is the same DVD from 1998, I'm going to be honest with you. Whenever the Blade 4 Film Favorites collection came out, I can't remember off the top of my head. You guys heard it in the history section, but this is definitely a reprint or a repackage of the DVD that was included in there, because I remember specifically this DVD looked like that. There's what your Blu-ray looks like. No artwork, just black and Blade. That's it. Not great disc artwork here, but what do you expect? It's Blade. Okay, so as is customary here on Home Media Reviews, let's take a look at some footage from the VHS copy of Blade, and then we'll move right along to the menu tour.
Jesus Christ, I thought you'd be happy. You're finally being reunited with your mother and you act like this? Blade, give it up. It's over. She belongs to me, buddy. Don't look so surprised.
Alrighty, everyone. Here's your menu tour for Blade, starting off with the DVD. And man, this DVD screams early 2000s, doesn't it? Just this menu style is wow. We do have some options, though. We can play the movie, languages, New Line Cinema logo there. We'll start off with the scenes here. We've got a weird menu for the scenes. You can select the scenes in batches of 5. Oh, okay, this is a different menu here, okay. So scenes 35 through 38. So each of these scenes have a title, a number, and a clip from them. And there's 38 scenes, 37 if you don't count the credits. You can also play the movie over there. Very strange setup, but you can also select special features from here too. So let's go ahead and look at that. So for special features, we've got a commentary track, La Madra, Designing Blade, The Origins of Blade, The Blood Tide, House of Erebus, cast and crew information, and a theatrical trailer. And that image of Deacon Frost shirtless sitting at his computer, I don't know if that's the image I would have gone with for a special features menu. I'm pretty sure the La Madra special feature is where you can see those scenes of Deacon Frost popping out of the horrendous blood tornado that was originally going to be the climax. I talk more about that later on in this video, but it's something all right. So for languages, we have a Dolby Digital 5.1 English mix, and then just a standard stereo English mix. And then for subtitles, we only have English. And then here's the New Line Cinema menu here. It's just a little special thanks to a whole bunch of people who helped work on this DVD, I guess? This is a weird menu. Okay, now we've got a more modern menu for the Blu-ray here. Gone is that horrendous early 2000s menu. Now we have the bland Warner Brothers menu. We've got the poster artwork there, and our options down at the bottom: play, scene selection, audio, subtitles, and special features. Let's take a look at the scene selection here. No titles, but we do have little photographs from each of the scenes, and they're all numbered. I wonder if they just use the same chapter selections from the DVD. Let's find out together. Yes, they did. It's literally the same number of scenes. For audio, we have quite a few options. We've got English, Dutch, Italian, Castellano Spanish, Latino Spanish, Portuguese, Czech. I don't know what that is. Quite a few options for audio there, way more than the DVD. Subtitles, we have English, Dutch, Italian, Castellano Spanish, Netherlands, Latino Spanish, Portuguese, Czech, whatever that is, and then no subtitles at all. Your special features include the audio commentary, La Madra, Designing Blade, Origins of Blade, a look at Dark Comics, The Blood Tide, and the theatrical trailer. But that wraps up your menu tour for Blade. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions, as always. My poor throat is currently on fire, but we are going to push through this because I am not missing another week. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? You guys are going to hate me for saying this, but online retailers, you can't find Blade on physical store shelves. Not anymore. You could back in like 2020, 2021-ish, but not now. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? No, unfortunately not. The last reprint of this was in 2020 when the 4K came out, so I'm going to have to say no to this. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Let me just start off by saying that vampires dance around in a nightclub listening to like EDM style music. Is that not enough to sell you? Just the it's a total beat, and I love it. It's like the perfect way to open up this just pure 90s cheese movie. I love the way that it opens. And I love Blade's introduction. The way he's motionless as we slowly pan up to reveal his face. How the vampires start to realize that this is the guy that they've all heard about. We instantly know that Blade has a reputation amongst these vampires. And then Blade starts killing vampires, and these effects really don't hold up well at all. Especially with how the vampires turn into flaming skeletons. It's not terrible, but it is closer to B-movie looking. The choreography does make up for this shortcoming. The fight in the opening scene was so good and sucked me right into the movie. Not only that, but Wesley Snipes is so good in this movie. He was the best choice to play Blade. The scene in the hospital where he gets shot by those cops and where he acts as any vampire hunter would, repeating this line, "Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?" I second that notion, Blade. There's a charred man running down the hallway, and yet the police choose to shoot the black guy. There's a college thesis paper in there somewhere. That charred man is Donald Logue, playing Quinn, who is another great character actor. If you've never seen the show Gotham, he's fantastic on that. He plays Harvey Bullock. He's also in Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage, so maybe take a couple of points off of his resume. I do enjoy Quinn and Blade's back and forth throughout the movie. It does make me wonder, though, why doesn't Blade just hurry up and kill this guy? If you keep talking about how you're going to kill him, why don't you just do it? You clearly have the means of doing it. Is it because he's a named character? We can't just off him like that? Chris Christopherson is my second favorite performance in this entire movie. He plays old and disheveled perfectly. His beard looks like it has fleas, and it's wonderful. He also has the second best line in the entire movie. After he cocks a shotgun, he says, "That catch you fuckers at a bad time?" Our villain here is Deacon Frost, played by Stephen Dorff. His performance, though, is equally funny, just like his last name. He's trying so hard to be a badass, but comes off as this pathetic kid who doesn't know how to be evil, and is only acting like the villains he grew up watching on TV. And yet, I really like how pathetic he is. It's a different take on a villain, and that cheesy performance really aids that. This movie is really efficient in how it drops in exposition, particularly in the scene where Blade, quote-unquote, eats. You hear Whistler talk about how this serum, it's over 50 milligrams, and how that's dangerous. He injects it into Blade, and his reaction tells you that it's not only painful, but necessary. Of course, this is thrown out the window in the next scene, where Whistler and Blade explain to Karen everything that does and doesn't work on vampires, but it's the thought that counts. Oh, right, Karen's in this movie, and she's played by Nabush Wright. I don't think I've seen her in anything outside of Blade. She's good in her role and does everything that she needs to do in the story. She has a lot of these, like, 4 long stares. The hospital scene was where her tendency to stare at things really starts. She barely has any reaction to her ex being eaten by this charred hunk of flesh, and after she's cured, there isn't much of a reaction to this whole vampire thing being explained to her. Maybe this was how she was told to play this character, but I didn't find the aspect of that performance really convincing. I like the concept of familiars and how the cop in Karen's apartment is revealed to be one. Vampires own a lot of our modern day. The police, blood banks, they've really entrenched themselves into this entire world. It's hilarious to think Blade goes out in the daylight in that ridiculous outfit and no one reacts to him. He's literally beating up a cop on the side of the road and everyone's just going along. Mind your business. Move along. Move along. The music at the start of this movie is great, but the music throughout Blade is really good too. Pure 90s, and I love it. You give Frost a message from me. You tell him it's open season on all suckheads. God, I love this insane dialogue. Now we get to Pearl. Not Pearl from SpongeBob. This overweight, sedentary thing that I guess guards the vampire records. This concept is so bizarre, it could only come from a comic book, and I love it. Pearl lets Blade know about La Madra, the blood god, and what Frost intends to do with the knowledge of the blood god. Oh, and Quinn comes back into the movie too, and I was really happy about that. Yo, I got 2 new hands, Blade. Yeah, I don't know which one I should use to kill you with. That's from a later scene where Quinn goes out like a bitch, unfortunately. The fight in the subway is probably the worst big fight in the movie, primarily from a filming perspective. This damn camera never holds still, and the subway obscures half the action. It's not a great fight, but it works as the halfway point in the movie. Snipes and Wright share a scene after the big fight in the subway. It's probably the most important scene in the entire movie from a character perspective. We learn Blade's motivation, and Snipes does a great job selling the huge weight he puts on himself. I can't get enough of him in this movie. He's fantastic as Blade. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Oh no, it's the bad effects siren. Deacon kills a vampire in the sun, and holy cow, that looked awful. Even for 1998, that should have been sent back and redone. Another public scene in daylight, and Blade fires a gun at Frost. No one reacts. Also, how the hell does Frost just step out of the way of those bullets? 3 of them are coming right at him, and he just goes, whoop. Excuse me. There's a huge crowd, and like nobody notices? How is that kid not dead when Frost throws her too? Didn't she land in like a food cart or something? She should have died. Okay? Yes, it's dark, but we've established that while this universe is silly, it's not entirely void of dark and intense stuff, so it could have worked. Whistler keeps a shotgun hidden inside of a light fixture. I just thought I needed to tell you all that, because I love it. Unfortunately, we have to talk about Whistler's death, because Whistler dies in the movie. No, my second favorite performance in the movie is dead. Except he comes back in the second one, only to be killed again in the third one. But we're not talking about those movies. Whistler's death was treated with the right amount of seriousness. Blade doesn't have a reaction because he's trying to keep his emotions at bay. You can see it all over Snipes' face. It's an incredibly subtle move, but one that's fantastic. Now walk away, you stupid son of a bitch. Walk the fuck away. Those last lines with the combo of the dramatic music, it's a brilliant death scene, and I wish that they would have kept it that way. As much as I like Chris Christopherson, and I loved seeing him back in Blade 2 and 3, it completely takes away all tension from this scene when you know that he survives. Another big fight scene, this time with more blood explosions. They are beautiful and they're over the topness, but if the camera didn't hold on those bad effects with the phages bulging out, maybe I would have liked them more. Okay, I've been talking a lot about things I like in this movie, but now we get to the part that I just cannot bring myself to like. Blade's mother is still alive. At the beginning of the movie, it's established that Blade's mother was bitten by a vampire as he was being born, and not only is she still alive, Deacon Frost was the one that bit her. This is just so stupid and shrinks the size of this universe. It would make more sense to have Blade's mom stay dead and maybe have Frost be the one who bit her. That I can go with. What I can't accept is his own mother being alive and not knowing Frost is hunting her son. She's the stupidest mother in the world. She recognized him immediately when he entered the room. How does she not know that the ultimate enemy to her kind is her own son? It makes no sense, and the movie doesn't do anything with this concept other than Blade sticking a bone into his own mother, enough to make Sigmund Freud go, yikes. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Hear that? It's the bad effects alarm again. Those skeletons ripping out of the Vampire Council's bodies. What the hell was up with that? A cool visual, but once you think about it for half a second, the whole thing starts to fall apart. So the Vampire Councils have bat skeletons inside of them, and they rip the flesh off of the people to get out in a really bad effect. Lamadra is released and possesses Frost, and we get the epic battle for the fate of the world. Of course, we have to get rid of Quinn, and Blade needs his sunglasses before that happens. I mentioned the line earlier, but then Quinn goes out like a bitch, and that really made me sad. The climactic fight at the end is great, rivaling the opening fight. Love this music, the choreography, the cheesy-looking effects when Frost and Blade duel. It's a lot of fun. And finally, we get the dumbest, and yet, no, I'm going to say the dumbest one-liner from any superhero I've ever seen. After Blade kicks all of those vials of vampire blow-up juice into Frost, he says, "This gem, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill." That line is so dumb. But I love it, because Wesley Snipes delivers it with just an overt amount of seriousness. As weird and kind of underwhelming as it is to just have a sword fight for the end, the original climax was way dumber for this movie. Lamadra was going to be this huge cloud of blood, and Frost was going to pop in and out of the cloud and taunt Blade throughout the fight, and the effects for that looked so bad, though. You can look them up. The deleted scenes are out there. It's bad, y'all. I am so glad they went with a sword fight as opposed to, like, Deacon Frost just, like, floating in midair, like, "Hello, Blade. I bit your mother. You suck." Like, funny how a literal blood god, though, is destroyed by a lab serum. But the explosion was fun. Almost like having this be a blood god that's the ultimate enemy was a bad decision. And maybe we should have had Frost try to empower himself with, like, the blood of other vampires rather than unleashing some random god. Because once you bring a god into a picture like this, the only way that you could feasibly take them down is with something of equal power. A serum that makes vampires go boom? I guess being a god wasn't all it was cracked up to be? Okay, enough crapping on Blade. There's one other thing that I really like about this movie, and it's the fact that Karen and Blade do not end up together. The Hollywood ending would have obviously had these two miraculously fall in love. But instead, it's much more natural here. They get up on that roof, and you think for just 1 minute, man, They're going to kiss, they're going to fall in love, they're going to live happily ever after. And then Karen just says, I have to get back to the lab. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. You're not falling for the weird goth vampire guy? The writers knew that that was a cliche back in 1998, and they steered clear of it. And you know what? I have to applaud them for it. I don't think it's any secret that I think Blade is a really fun movie. This is what kicked off some of the modern comic book... This movie is what kicked off the modern comic book craze. Well, it was the precursor to it. I would argue X-Men and Spider-Man had more of a cultural impact on comic book films, but Blade is what kicked it off. Blade is what gave Fox the confidence to finally greenlight X-Men. And then X-Men gave Sony the confidence to greenlight Spider-Man. Without Blade, we may not have superhero movies as we have them today. This movie is so important in our timeline. Yeah, they make some really dumb choices with Blade's mom. But no movie is perfect, and I'm willing to forgive that because there's so much more here that I like. Wesley Snipes, Chris Christopherson, Donald Logue, the action sequences, the choreography, the over-the-top violence, the dumb one-liners. It's everything I could have ever wanted in a dumb 90s action movie, and I love it. And I recommend that you all go out and see it right this moment because Blade is something special. You don't get movies like this anymore, and this movie should be celebrated for that. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Well, same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, the Blu-rays of this are not too expensive. You can get the Walmart standard version, DVD included, for about $5-10. You could also get the standard Blu-ray from back when it first came out for about the same price. Or you could go all out and get the triple pack, which I honestly would recommend doing. I'm a completionist. For a while, I only wanted movies that I actually liked in my collection, but now I'm moving more towards, I kind of want all the movies in a trilogy set if I can get them all in one box. And like the Blade trilogy is out there, I could go out and pick it up. So, I'd recommend getting the 3-pack. Blade 2 was alright. I enjoy that movie fine. Blade 3, could I say atrocious for that? Just pure garbage? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm not selling you on this triple pack, am I? I'd say that's about worth probably about 10 to 15 for that triple pack. DVDs, Blade on DVD doesn't look good. Even back then in like 6th, 7th grade, before I had made the jump to Blu-ray, I knew that DVD didn't look good, so don't even bother with it. The Blu-ray transfer is pretty good for the time. I don't know anything about how the 4K looks. I haven't done any research on that front, so I do know how much it's selling for online, about $15-20. Sounds about right. I don't know if you'll be able to find one with a slipcover, though. The slipcover versions of that sold out pretty quick. Steelbooks, I don't really know any prices on steelbooks right now. So if you find a Blade steelbook for like $20, hell yeah, go ahead and grab it. Well, folks, that wraps up your home media review on Blade. I may like this movie more than Batman now that I realize it. Now that I've been talking through it again, I've almost like been reliving the experience of watching the movie, and now I just want to go watch it again. I love Batman. You guys heard that review 2 weeks ago. But man, do I love Blade. This movie is just pure 90s. It is a time capsule of the 90s. And I love it. It's wonderful. We've had 2 weeks of comic book movies here. So why don't we go ahead and switch gears to something completely different? No comic books, no sci-fi, no action. Why don't we take a look at a movie that is pure drama? And not just any drama. What I would argue is one of the greatest movies ever made. Does this mean Garrett's going to cover Citizen Kane on home media reviews? No, I have not seen Citizen Kane. I own it and will watch it one day, but not today. No, I'm being serious. I would argue that this movie's probably one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. And that movie is 12 Angry Men. Not the remake from 1997 directed by William Friedkin, no. The original from 1957 directed by Sidney Lumet. And there shouldn't be any reason why any of you should be complaining about how, I don't have access to this movie. You can download it for free on archive.org. Watch 12 Angry Men for next week. Trust me, you're going to love it because it's wonderful. But I'm spoiling my review already. You guys have got to come back next week to hear me talk more about that. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I will see you all then. Good night, everybody. And some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. God, that line is so dumb.